So today I have some gameplay analysis for you. This is WF Azamina, WF Runick, and also Centurion. However, I have deceived you because I noticed that a lot of the people that follow my channel won't watch videos that I make that are on meta content. And so I'm actually the one playing meta, and I'm playing against other players on WF Azamina, WF Runick, and Centurion. So those are like some of the main decks that people watch my channel for. And I thought it would be interesting because I'm learning Snake Eyes. I don't know how to play the deck yet. And I'm playing against the decks that I normally build and make videos on. So here I'm going first on Snake Eyes, and I start with the Witch. I only really have two ways to play, the Bonfire and the Witch. So he goes Imperm, which is additionally a good idea now because this can also get Deception, so this card is way more flexible than it was before. And here I Bonfire for the Ash, and I'm thinking that, you know, if he hits me here, I basically am just going to go for a Closed Heaven line because I don't really know what else to do. But he doesn't, and so I get out the Poplar, which gives me the Temple, and that gives me the Snake Eyes Diabel, so I get the Oak, because that will give me the Flamberge, and now I have, like, you know, all of my relevant monsters in rotation. Here I go for a Masquerena, because I want to go, you know, like, Promethean Princess at some point first, but I don't really know if the order that I'm doing this in matters that much, because he seems to not be stopping me, and I already have like a Flamberge and a Masquerena here, so I'm thinking if he does nib me, I will get to push up, you know, like the Masquerena and float the Flamberge or something. But anyhow, here I make a sequence, and that resolves, so I bring out that was the other thing that I wasn't sure if he was like holding another like Imperm or something for. So anyhow, here I equip the sequence, and I use Rabbit to get the Silhouette Trick. So a quick note on this, most people are playing Azurune instead of this. I found one other person, I think Junping Zhu, who's somewhat of a popular player. I think he's on Team GNC. He's been playing this too. And he said that the reason that he plays this is mostly because of Deception, because you can just negate the Deception. You don't have to pop it with a Rabbit or whatever. And the cool thing about Snake Eyes is because you're always going to be pushing stuff up, you have multiple ways to trigger Rabbit. It's not like in some other decks where you basically have to use, your only chance at using Rabbit is when the Silhouette Trick or the Azurune comes out. So, yeah, kind of like weird that my Poplar is still on field, but so he Wanted for the Witch in the draw phase, he Witches and sends the Deception. So here I'm going to push up the Masquerena. Because he's going to be setting something off of the Witch. In this case, it's going to be the Deception, and I want it to be able to trigger the Silhouette Rabbit on a new chain. So, yeah, the thing about Rabbit is that it just says, if a card in the Spell and Trap zone is special summoned to the Monster zone, you can target a Spell and Trap your opponent controls, destroy it. So this does not have to be, you know, any particular type of card. It's anything at all works. So I pop the Deception, and here he uses the Wanted draw. So I still don't know what he's on, and here he droplets the Desiree. So if he droplets the Desiree and his next play is summoning a Stellar, I feel like he probably doesn't have much gas left in his hand. So here I just bring out the Silhouette Trick to negate the Stellar, and then he surrenders. If he did have like a Soldier or something where he was going to send it for cost, even though this was negated, I would still have a Masquerena to do whatever I wanted. So I wasn't really too worried at that point, and I never needed the Droll. So, yeah. So game 2 against White Forest Azamina. So I shotgun the Perulia in standby because I know he's basically forced to, especially with the Azamina stuff. Actually, you're even more susceptible on White Forest to this card because the Witch summons from hand. So he normals, I get one draw. I have the Fool Loss. I don't want to shotgun it. I want more draws. I actually don't have really any usable engine right now. So I continue drawing, and here is the first time that he can actually summon from the extra deck, so I drop the Fool Loss, and I guess he decides that he doesn't want to give me any more draws than I already I'm going to get, so he just makes a Dweller. Maybe this means he's not on Baguska, because I feel like Baguska might have been better, but both of these are going to lose to the same Imperm anyhow. So, finally I draw into like a usable piece of engine. He uses the Dweller immediately, which is, you know, doesn't play around Imperm at all, and so I just Imperm it. And here we Bonfire. I guess, you know, maybe he thought I was on Talents or something, but can't play around both. So anyhow, I normal summon the Ash, and he allows that to resolve. So I'm like, okay, he's probably just going to wait for the Poplar to woes me, but I have Ash. So on res, he does woes as I was thinking, but I have the Ash for the woes, so that doesn't matter. So now I still don't know if he has Valor or Imperm, because, you know, the reason that he wouldn't have Valor or Imperm is because he thought he might just woes and stop me from playing, right? So he could still have Valor or Imperm. So now I Ash and I bring out a Flambridge, because I already have another way to get to Oak off of this. So normally you'd go for the Oak first to bring out the Flambridge, I think. So here my Oak gives me back another card, and my Poplar places back the Diabellstar, and I don't really know what he has. So I'm just like, okay, well, he's not doing anything, so I'm just going to go for a generic line. And he imperms the Flambridge. So I mean, the thing is, if he imperms the Princess, like, I can still just go for the OTK pretty easily. Like, I can still make Raging Phoenix Zealantis. But I do that anyhow, no matter what. And then he surrenders there. So that was against White Forest Azamina. Now I'll show the Centurion games. So here he's going first. I don't know if this was a mistake or what, because I feel like, why would you bonds? Why would you, like, if you had another card to play, wouldn't you normal summon first and make me think, like, you know, maybe I could end your play here and then bond something else after? Yeah, I don't really know why he did it like this. But anyhow, he searches for the field spell, he discards the Phalanx, and so almost never will a Centurion player be bringing out Trudea because they're actually about to perform the summon. The whole point of this is resource economy, and you place it to play something else. But I was like, what are the chances? You know, this guy's been doing some wacky plays. Maybe he'll just go for Primera Primus here, and I don't want to miss out on a draw, so I just use it there. But that means that he can basically just give me only one draw and then pass his entire turn. So, and the thing about Valoring this card is it doesn't really matter if you have bonds, because now he does have both a tuner and a non-tuner, and it can be any level he wants. Like, it could be either the 8 or it could be the 12. So the Valor doesn't, you know, stop anything to do with, like, it doesn't stop his ability to make Crimson Dragon or anything. So here, I know that I need to use Imperm on the Crimson Dragon, and there's no way that he should allow me to do this. But I want to see if he will make the misplay, because, you know, if you can let your opponent misplay and make the game easier for you, there's no reason not to do that. So I'm trying to do everything in my power to keep no cards on my field to see if he will shotgun the Crimson Dragon. So he brings out Crimson Dragon, and now here's the moment of truth. On res, he activates Crimson Dragon. So this is kind of like a way to play around maybe like talents or something, because if I talents to take and he chains Crimson Dragon to bring out the Blazer, I'll just take the Blazer on res, you know? So maybe that's what he's thinking of playing around, but I don't know. I feel like you just let me put one card on field first, and then you start using the cards in your back row, because now like, you know, even people on Power Spell are playing Imperm. Everybody's playing Imperm. So now you just lose to the Imperm. So yeah. Anyhow, I already revealed my Fiendsmith line, so I just continue with that line before showing that I have Deception in hand. And I'm playing a larger package in this deck. So here I go to pop the Auxilla, and I wasn't really thinking that he would bring it back with Phalanx, but I also don't think it matters, because my plan is to go for the Zealantis ODK. He does negate the sequence, which is unfortunate because, you know, I only have a few cards left in hand, so that basically means that the Deception has to work, because the other cards in hand are not, like, you know, gas on their own or anything. So anyhow, I'm like, there's no way I'm just bringing out the Omni, right? I need to, like, actually push and go for games. So I bring out Murcielago, hoping, because he's already used the Mourner, that he doesn't have more hand traps in hand. And I'm thinking that, you know, if so he is on Bestial Centurion because he has the Regained, but he certainly would have used the Bestial, I think, at some point. Like, he probably would have Bestialed the Lurie or something, right? So I'm like, he probably doesn't have Bestials. Maybe he doesn't have other hand traps. But he did let me go all the way to Sequence, and I guess, like, if he was saving the Mourner for Sequence, he could have something else. So here is the moment where I check for the last hand trap. And I say check, but really, like, you know, I don't want him to hand trap me here. Because, you know, I can get back the How to Azamina by shuffling back the Murcielago, but I do want this to resolve. So it does resolve. I place the original. I get back the Hallowed, and here I Hallowed, sending the original to bring out the Omni, and that's fine because the original is still just as useful engraved for my purposes, so I search for the Ash, and here I get the draw by putting back the banished original Sinful Spoils, so crazy value there. Here I place Snake Eyes the Diabellstar, and now under the Omni, I go for this play. So either he has, like, Nib and something, and honestly, like, I don't even know if he comes out ahead, because I already have the Princess on field, you know? And here I go for the Raging Phoenix play, and I can... Bro, it's actually crazy that you can put the monsters in attack position. Like, why does the card allow you to do that? So anyhow, and I still have the Omni, and now I just go battle phase and attack. So So yeah, so that was I showed you the White Forest Azamina and the Centurion. So now I'm going to show you the White Forest Runick games. So so he goes first. He tip searches for Fountain. He banishes a Fenrir. Doesn't tell him like a huge amount. Now he normal Sylvian. I'm like, okay, he's on the White Forest version, and he activates Slumber to special from deck. So here, obviously, you have to chain the Foolos. The only way to, like, in air quotes, play around this is to chain another Runick card to special summon. So that resolves first, because these only special to the extra monster zone. So I would not get a draw off of the Foolos. But then it's like, this is basically a combo deck. You know, just because you're playing Runick cards doesn't mean it's not a combo deck. So, like, you know, he'd basically be hurting himself. And then, you know, he'd have to draw off the Fountain and just be playing on Fountain, basically. So there's not really a good counterplay to that in this deck. So yeah, he resets the woes, and I actually don't know why I did this, to be honest. I don't know why I ashed here. I think my thought process was he sent the Fountain because he has another one, and so maybe he's searching Valor because he doesn't want to continue laddering, right? So I'm thinking he's probably not trying to combo anymore. And maybe he's searching the one of Valor, but I only have one way to play it because I drew 3 Bonfire. So, yeah, I'm thinking, you know, he probably can stop me anyhow because he's, you know, he must have Runick cards to play with. But, you know, if he has Valor, like, I already lose to the Valor. And then here I draw the Witch. He makes the Diabel here. And so I start with the Witch and I discard the Bonfire. And, obviously discarding the Bonfire shows that you have like another way to play, but I was like, you know, I'm not going to get value off discarding the Flamberge right now, and the Droll, like, I don't know, who knows, maybe he'll search like off of Tip, and then I'll be able to Droll him before he gets to search off of Fountain or something, I don't know. So he actually already had Valor, and then he uses Tip here, and my Lurry gets banished off the Tip, which is kind of crazy, because that's a one of. So here I Bonfire, and I'm like, I can't play through this. And then he banishes my original Sinful Spoils. That's crazy. He my Lurry and my original. So now he gets the draw. And at this point, I'm thinking he's probably not going to draw more. Because he's already searched off the Fountain. And he's done the Fountain draw. So there's no reason to draw now. So I'm like, well, I only have one play left, and I make Closed Heaven, and he just pops it off Destruction, so I lose. So, okay, so game 2. I'm going first, obviously. I feel like Fenrir is probably good, because he'll either have to trade, like, 1-for-1 with it, or, you know, it'll threaten his Fountain. So I Fenrir here, I Witch, I keep my Droll and my Engraver, I send the Wanted, and he Valors the Witch. Which is, you know, I don't know if I should have Fiendsmith first to try to force an interaction at some point, because the thing about this line is that because you're going for Engraver, the sequence is a magnet for Imperms and Valors. So I guess that you know, maybe I should have argued that the Fiendsmith is way less important in the Witch resolving, and maybe I should have just gone for the sequence first. Yeah, so maybe that was a misplay on my part. And here I'm just like, you know, I Fenrir for Fenrir, it's like whatever, I discard the Lurry. Requiem brings out the Lacrima, which dumps an Engraver, and I get that back. And here I make the sequence, which is my last check for hand traps, and he doesn't have it, so now I make Rabbit because I have an extra body, and I set the Silhouettric, which I particularly like in this matchup as well. And then sequence I equip from Grave, so I don't feel that bad. I don't think that I played this correctly, but I don't feel that bad. Okay, so now he uses Destruction on the sequence, and you have to, you basically, like, unless you're trying to play around talents, I guess you could allow this to resolve, but I was kind of salty that he banished my original and my Lurry last time, and so I'm like, okay, I don't want him to banish the top 4 cards of my deck, because I do have a lot of 1-ofs, so I do negate it. So, but actually, wait, sorry. Did he do that in Standby? I can't remember, because then, obviously, I wouldn't have to worry about talents. Anyhow, he does evenly match me, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep the Fenrir on field. And I actually almost scooped here, because I was like, I have a Fenrir in hand and a Droll in hand, and I'm probably going to lose if he evenly matched me, and now he has 4 cards in hand. So here I Droll, and that stops him. I know that this would, like, if he had both engines, it would stop him from using the White Forest stuff. So I'm assuming that because he's normal summoned the LZ, he does have access to woes. Otherwise, I don't know why he would have done that. So here I draw Deception. And what I'm thinking is, I probably need to force him to do something, because I don't want a deception and then lose to one interaction. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go battle. I'm gonna search Fenrir and then go battle phase, and he's gonna think, he's gonna think my hand is trash. He's gonna be like, okay, he has 2 Fenrirs in hand, his hand is trash. So now he woes. Okay, he brings out the Sylvie and he goes for the Silvera. So he adds back the LZ and the Silvera books the Fenrir, which is, so he like has to do this, right? Because if he doesn't woes here, then the Fenrir will banish the LZ, and not only will he then not be able to woes later in the turn, but the LZ will be out of rotation. So this is actually mandatory for him. He's forced to do this. And because I know he's forced to do this, now I can Deception, and I contribute the monster on field, and now I can bring out another Fenrir, which didn't even use his effect yet. So yeah, I haven't even used the Fenrir, but I get to clear my own field, and I can Hollowed Azamina. And even though we're in a somewhat simplified game state, I'm like, there's no reason to bring out the Omni. So like he allowed me to use Hallowed Azamina, right? So if I bring out the Omni, that doesn't really help my resource game much, and he's gonna have more cards than me and more usable cards because I just have a Fenrir in hand, right? So I'm like, okay, I need to actually play. So here I witch, and I send the Fenrir in hand because I want to use the bodies to make something. So here I make the Masquerena, and I have the original here, so I can Hallowed again, and now this gives me the Omni. And because he's still not done anything, I'm like, okay, well, I probably can play then, right? So I search for the Ash, which gives me the Poplar, which brings itself out, which will give me the Temple. And that, what do I get here? Do I get the Oak? No, I get the Snake Eyes Diavel. But I special the Oak, which gives me back the Snake Eyes Ash, and now I bring out Flamberg. So here I have all my stuff in rotation. And then the Poplar will place back the Snake Eyes Diabel. And so now here he scoops, because he's like, okay, there's no way to win at this point. So now we go to game 3. And so I Perulia in standby, and here I'm thinking, oh my god, and he banishes the original again off of the tip. That's crazy. I'm also like unhappy, right? So I'm not happy because this happened, and he searches the fountain, and I'm like, okay, I have literally one way to play. I have to be extremely careful with my interactions. Like, I do have like custom interactions against deck. Like I have a Ash against the fountain, I have a Cosmic against the fountain, or Ash on something else because of the Cosmic on the fountain. Like I could Ash on the LZ or something like that, depending on what he sends. But I have to be careful because I only have one way to play. And if I imperm, it's not obvious what I'm going to be sending off of the Witch, I basically would be like forced to send my draw, probably, because I can't really give up these cards. So he goes to draw 2, and I'm like, I can't let you draw 2. I got Ash there. So he Sylvies, I get 1 draw, and I draw evenly. And I'm like, okay, this is perfect. Because if the evenly resolves, then it doesn't matter, that I have to use my my Witch for the draw. I can happily imperm and then save my Cosmic, because he's going to save the fountain, right? After I evenly match. So I just save the Cosmic for the fountain. I can use my imperm, stop him getting, something he might be holding in hand. So, here I'm imagining, wait, what is he doing? So here I'm confused. Yeah, I remember I was confused here. So wait, why did he do this? So he Arciella's for a tank. And what's the reason for making... So wait, what were the other options? So there was no way for him to tank to get a level 2 to make Diabel, I guess. Does he not play Rabbit? I feel like post side, if he was playing Rabbit, that could be like a solid card to play too against me, because there's the same interaction where he could, like, let's say he was on Azirun, he could Azirun, Rabbit pop my Deception, Azirun negate the Witch. I think that's one of the reasons Azirun is way more popular, is that you can Azirun the Witch. So but I don't know his extra deck, I guess. So I guess I don't really know why he made that. But maybe he's just thinking it's just gonna be like a Towers monster and he'll sit on it. And honestly, like, so here I'm like, I'm missing that I don't play Goddess, because Goddess is perfect for exactly these types of scenarios where there's just like one body that is kind of annoying to out, and you can't affect it with, like, you can't Zealantis, banish it, bring it back, and like then run over it and stuff like that, because it's unaffected by monster effects. And it doesn't matter that it can't be destroyed by battle because it's 3,500. So, I actually wasn't sure what my out was besides Imperm. And so now I'm like, thinking that I need to save the Imperm for the Chaos Angel. And I already have it, so I'm fine, right? But I draw Perulia and Oak, which is not good because now I still only have one way to play. So I go battle, right? And I'm like forcing a bunch of stuff. So he woes and he brings out the Arciela. And so I'm thinking that he's gonna search a Veiler, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. I needed to save my Imperm for the Chaos Angel because I don't know if I have another way to out it. But now if he searches Veiler, I'm just going to lose because he's going to Veiler the Witch. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I have to like play a stall game or something. Or just like, because I don't know. Like if there's an obvious way to out the Chaos Angel here without the Imperm or something, let me know. So I Imperm the Arciela. And then he chains the Rusia to it. And I'm like, okay, so he doesn't know my hand, right? So he doesn't know I only have one way to play. So I wasn't necessarily expecting that he would do that. Because now his Sylvie and his Rusia are both going to be banished, like face down. And I also don't know how many of these he plays. So, and he searches Scourge. And I'm like, why would you search that card in this scenario? Anyhow, so he now forces me to use the Cosmic at this point, and so I don't know if this is maybe this is a misplay, right? So I Cosmicked because he was gonna get a double draw off the fountain, but if I didn't Cosmic and I evenly, he probably banishes the Chaos Angel, right, and keeps the fountain, and then it didn't matter how many runic cards he drew because I would just Cosmic the fountain afterwards, like before I use my Witch. And then I win, right? Probably. So I guess that was a misplay as well. So yeah, the evenly resolves. I send the Perulia to summon the Witch, and he doesn't hit it with anything. So, you know, I don't know what else he has in his hand. So here I search the WF Azamina, and I need to actually play. So we bring out the Murcielago, and that gives me the Wanted. And I just search another Witch. I just wanted the Wanted in the Grave, so that card in hand is really just a body. And now I'm realizing that I actually don't know what my play was because I didn't have a way to get to Deception. So I think that I should have just searched for the original Sinful Spoils, right? Instead of going for this like extravagant Fiendsmith play. Yeah, and then I make a huge mistake because I forgot that I sighted out the target for Rabbit, and I was thinking, well, this is an illusion. The Silhouette Trick counts as an illusion. The Chaos Angel doesn't threaten those cards, and so if he has another way to access Fountain or whatever, like he can't stop that. Like he'll have to have like particular runic cards to stop me from using those, right? But I sighted it out. And so this was like a major misplay on my part. Anyhow, so here he discards the Scourge, which I was very surprised that he searched, because if he Veilered me, I was cooked, right? And then he makes the Coral Dragon, and I think he has to skip his battle phase here. So now I draw Bonfire. So I finally have another way to play after my huge mistakes of not trying to just get original Sinful Spoils. So here I activate Deception and WF Azamina, and he Scourges it. So I did this first because I'm thinking if he doesn't have a way to interact with my Bonfire, even if I don't really know how to get over the Chaos Angel, I can at least build whatever board I want, right? So he gets the Coral Dragon draw. Here I bring out the Requiem so that I have a free send-off of the original, and that gives me the Ash, which will then give me the Poplar, which will then give me the Temple, which will give me Snake Eyes Diabel, okay, and here I get Oak, which can give me the Flamberge. But remember that the Flamberge can't place the Chaos Angel because it's still unaffected, so... and so here I'm just like, I actually don't know what to do. And so I'm just making cards, and I'm thinking, like, do I actually have to wait until I get Imperm? So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just clear his back row. I have a Co-Link to Nightmare Phoenix, and I'm just gonna... And it's actually a droplet, and there's nothing of value, you know, he can't... What is he gonna send for this? And then I actually draw into the Imperm. That's crazy. So now I'm like, okay, well, I win no matter what. So I'm just going to put some like resource efficient cards on field. Like if I push up the Masquerena, the Rabbit could have a pop depending on what he does. And there's going to be a Fenrir, which will force him to maybe like attack over the Fenrir with a Chaos Angel. And then what happens next is he makes me wait until the clock runs down to 0. So I feel like from his perspective, he didn't know that I drew imperm, right? And so maybe he could have just like attacked my Fenrir and like kept passing or something. But yeah, so super inefficient plays on my end with that. But I'll just quickly show you the deck that I was playing for anyone who cares. This is a list, so there's a slightly larger Fiendsmith package to make the cards less worse or less bad if you draw them, so that you know you still get value off of them. There are a bunch of bricks though. You are playing Silhouettrick and Snake Eyes Diabel and also the Flamberge. Lurie is full Fiendsmith combo, but obviously you don't want to use your normal on that. So yeah. I was playing Skull Dread for a while, and I think that is a pretty cool line, but I feel like there's so little space in the extra deck here that I wanted to have like the Nightmare Phoenix and the Hita in case I was playing mirrors and stuff. So anyhow, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.